Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, wherever you are and however you may be watching. Thank you very much for tuning in. I heard you. I heard you loud and clear. You wanted to revisit the starting Masters deck that I put out that a lot of you have said that you've had success with, but because of some changes to some of the minions and some of the expansions, you wanted to know what I've changed in the deck to continue to use the deck of minions that again you get relatively or right off the bat, etc., etc. A few aside from a few. So if you haven't watched the previous video, check it out in the Minion Masters playlist, where the rest of the Minion Masters content is on my channel. But let's take a look at the deck. Now, there are a few changes here. And again, looking at the original list, I looked at it again today. Not too many changes. We still have the Cleaver as our big kill card that you utilize on the opposite bridge of your push. Again, you focus your opponent to push against your push, and then you send the Cleaver around the back and backdoor them. I have swapped out the Succubus for the Annihilator just because of its AoE ability. Can take care of the scrap packs and stuff like that, along with the air. Weaker than the Succubus, a little less survivability than the Succubus, but the AoE helps a lot. We still have our Stun Lancers, which are very critical against things like the Living Statue and Colossus, along with things the other big boys of the game. We still are using Fireball. Again, I personally think Fireball is the best just AoE one boom shot that you can do. Also, with its ability to do damage to the base, definitely still a keeper here. Even though, again, not legal in competitive formats. I mean, the main one tournament, it's not illegal in that, but it is legal on the normal rank play. Fire Imp, very powerful card for a 4-drop. Definitely wipes out a lot of stuff. Gets rid of some annoying things like the Electro Chopper and things like that. We're still running Zhao Long. Again, very powerful 3-drop flyer. Gets you around a lot of the annoying land-only creatures. Plus, if your opponent tries to cast a spell, gains Rage, Frenzy, and Shield. So definitely keeping him. Now, our low-cost cards have changed a bit. One of the questions a lot of folk asked was with the cost of Divine Warrior going up, are we still using it? No. The 5-drop spot is definitely something we don't want to keep pushing on. If we utilize the same deck as we did before, our mana curve goes a little high, and we can get run over by the super aggressive decks. The starting deck that everyone has been using does have a tendency to have a hard time with those super aggressive decks. And with the mana cost of Divine Warrior going up, definitely not something I want to invest in now. So what we've done is we've kind of turned our mid-rangey deck with the Cleaver Kill into a little bit more of an aggressive deck. We've got 2 Scrat Hordes to take care of some of those annoying taunt minions and just overwhelm some of the creatures that are, they can only focus on one attacker at a time. The Scrat Horde is great for that. Also, one of the new cards from Sand Wars, we have Caged Prowler. Again, like I talked about in my set review of Sand Wars, I really like this card because it allows you, especially these aggro decks, to have a lot of pressure on the bridges and then have this tick down. And so you've got your pressure on your bridges, and all of a sudden you've got a big killer coming out in 20 seconds. So definitely something I really like here. And then also we have Bannerman. Definitely starting to get a lot more love in the Bannerman in my game gameplay, especially with Scrat Hordes and Stun Lancers and things like that. Drop him in combination with some of these guys, and your minions live longer. So those are the changes I've made. And looking at the games I've recently played, which we're going to watch the replays like we always do, you'll see that though the deck might not be as 1-2 punchy as it used to be, it is still very competitive, and definitely the results show that. So let's get over to the gameplay. All right, so here we go. The first battle, we've got my Ranger versus the wonderful Mage there. The hand that I got dealt right off the bat on this one, not a huge fan of, but definitely not a horrible hand. I'm going to start out again, like I talked about in the review of the deck, with that Scrat Horde to kind of take over the both bridges and keep that advantage going. Notice the Prowler is over there while we've got pressure on their side of the base. The Prowler's over there just cooking away, cooking away. A lot of things that some folks forget to do. Your master is very powerful. So trust your master to be able to defend some of the small attacks while you focus on what you need to do here. So utilizing that Annihilator, we took out their push and countered it with our Scrat Horde, and we've got the Prowler out. There goes their Sniper, and now we've got a nice attack here with the Prowler right on their base. Now, there is obviously a weakness of the Prowler, and that's air units, but we can utilize our Fireball, especially when we've got a dude right up in their master's face. We can utilize the Fireball to not only do damage to their base, but anything also that they just spawn there. As you can see at the top of the screen, our bridge control has been pretty significant, which is what this deck has always tried to do. Again, if we're getting our bonuses and they can't get their bonuses, we win. So here's that utilization of the Banner Minion with the Stun Lancers to kind of give them a little bit more power. They did utilize a spell there, so we got in a couple good shots there with Zhao, taking them down to 50% health, below 50%, and we've only taken 40 damage. Now, we are going to take a little bit more damage here, but as you can see, keeping the pressure on their side of the battlefield while that Prowler is cooking up, it's just great. It's just great. Now, I don't really have much here. We do pull out an Annihilator here, but not a whole lot here to protect that Prowler, though it does live. It's very low health, and it won't last very long on that side. I would have liked to have the Annihilator out a little bit faster, but that's just not how it happened there. Now, here you see the utilization with the Bannerman and the Scrat Horde in order to take out not only the Warrior, but also the Sniper. And again, we've got bridge control. We're pushing on to halfway through our third perk, and we're just doing damage to them. Got a Prowler cooking again. We've got Zhao in there. We've got our Annihilator in there, and we are just really wrecking their face here. We've got them down to 385 hit points, and again, we've only lost 140 hit points so far this entire match. So as you can see, focus on that bridge control, trust your master, and then swing in. Here I'm going to send the Cleaver in with the same side as the Prowler, just to give a 1-2 punch there. We have the Scrat Horde coming down at the bottom, and there you go. So again, the changes we made to this deck, I think it keeps it very competitive. Definitely cool. I am 3-0 with this deck currently right now. So let's take another look at another gameplay. All right, so this is going to be a little bit longer of a match than the last one. The last one was done in just under 3 minutes. This one should be done in just under 5, so a little bit longer of a slog out. This opponent's deck was a little bit better than what we've seen before. They open up with the 2 archers. Again, we're going to put most of our focus on bridge control. So I've got my Stun Lancers down. We've got the Scrat Horde to the top, which takes out their unit, but then quickly gets dispatched by them. Right now, I'm kind of learning what they have so I can make adjustments to what I need to do. Clearly, they have the Stun Rock. They've got the Twirly Twirly. So right now, air units seem to be pretty good. Now, with that being said, we do know they have the Elven Archers, but those are pretty easily dispatched with most of our stuff. So again, utilizing the Annihilator, utilizing our Scrat Hordes, we should be able to take care of those Archers pretty effectively. They do have some other, as we can see, ground-to-air units, so a pretty even deck on their side. But at the end of the day, ours is just a bit more, I think, more competitive than theirs is. So again, they put that living statue top, so I'm going to put the main focus up there on the top while our Prowler cooks up at the bottom. Now, I have had a couple times where people do put a little focus on that Prowler and actually kill him off. But usually, if you're putting a lot of focus on their push, they're going to ignore that Prowler, and we can just do a counter push like this, where we're going to be able to not only take out their minions, but we're also going to get in some base damage. You know, we've done a couple hundred damage to them already, a fourth of their life, and they haven't even touched our base yet. Just like we talked about in the original deck here that we had on the original video several months ago, the idea of playing this deck is don't play into your opponent. So don't let your opponent counter you. Put cheat cards on the battlefield, let your opponent make their play, and then counter their play. Your deck is very much set up to counter them. As we can see at the bottom, they put a lot of focus around that Annihilator. We got the Cleaver around the back door, and they had to use one of their little hero crabs in order to get it done. That crab does not eat through that Cleaver very quickly, and you can see we got about 3 shots in with that Cleaver before they eventually brought it down. Utilizing again the Scrat Horde at the top to really slow down that statue and get it in a killable place. What we'll do here is while our Prowler's cooking, we'll get some Stun Lancers in there and things like that. The Prowler's going to come out, help us finish off that living statue, and take back the top. If you notice, I'm not putting a lot of focus on the crab at the bottom because, again, as I keep saying, trust your hero. The hero does a good amount of damage. We've got plenty of life. Life is a resource in this game. We don't need to sit here and just play out cards to, quote-unquote, counter our opponent all the time in every push that they make. We want to make sure we're maximizing our bridge control, but at the same time, countering the pushes that get us damage in on their base. Yes, we took a little bit of damage there. It's fine. We're playing the long, slow game. We're utilizing our resources appropriately. We're keeping ahead on bridge control, and we're getting that damage in on their base. Clearly, we've almost got the third unlock done here. We've got another nice push at the bottom with the Prowler and the Annihilator, which will be able to push through this. Zhao will be able to take out that Musketeer relatively easy. Now, they're going to, obviously start to panic here because, we're getting good pushes in here. I'm trusting my hero again to take care of the rest of the Musketeer. They fired off a spell, which enraged Zhao. We've got our Cleaver in here. Zhao's on their base. All it's going to take is us to either let Zhao finish off, which he does, or get that Cleaver freed up and finish him off there, or have a Fireball. So we were in a great position there at 4 minutes, and we just won the game. Again, playing our game, which is countering them, countering their plays, keeping bridge control, and trusting our hero, utilizing our life as a resource. So let's look at the final game. Again, 3-0 with this deck. All right, so this is now the another type of champion that we're going to see this deck play against, which is Ravager. A lot of our minions are ground minions. A lot of our killers are ground minions, such as our Cleaver, which Ravager can get through quite quickly. So we're just going to have to play our game. Zhao is going to be really important to us. We're also going to see some of the new cards here, such as what we just saw at the bottom with their Prowler killing our Cage, which is definitely unfortunate because Prowler has been so good for us in the other 2 games. They also have the Mechano Chopper, which also counters our Scrat Horde. So this game could be a little bit rougher, but again, trusting our hero, trusting Zhao, because Zhao is a really good counter to Ravager because of the fact that he can get air and he can also hit Ravager from a distance. Now, Cleaver's not exactly the best thing that we want to utilize to kill out Mechano Chopper because he does die to it. Or the Mechano Chopper will die, but leave our Cleaver very wounded. However, even a wounded Cleaver can almost take out Brutus. So that's really good for us. Again, we're focusing on bridge control. We've gotten through 1 Brutus, but they've been able to hold the bridges a little bit longer than we do. So as you can see, I'll start to adjust my play a little bit to try to help focus on protecting my pushes, protecting our counter, using that Fireball there to knock out all of those resources that they just spent to summon all those guys. But again, our big focus here is going to be utilizing Zhao in order to protect our, in order to win. Because, again, Zhao can sit at a distance, he can take them out at a distance, and as long as we protect him, which now we see that they have the Marine drop, we just have to constantly be updating what we're doing. We see they have the Slither at the bottom that has the stealth ability. Another great use for the Scrat Horde because that dude can only hit 1 guy at a time. So Scrat Horde is really great against this. Now we've got Scrat Horde with shields, which again, Ravager is going to pretty much one-shot them. But utilizing that shield, it gives them another shot, so we do get some damage in. Now you'll see at the top, I let the anti-air unit actually attack the prowler or attack the hero before I dropped the prowler cage. That way, their focus was on my hero and not on the prowler. So they're staying pretty even with us here going into the 3-minute mark. But again, I'm feeling pretty good about things. We're catching up on the perks. This is our first game that we've really played from behind most of the game, which really shows the usefulness of this deck as we're playing from behind on the perks. We just now passed them at the 3-minute mark, but as you can see with the health differentials, 930 to 2,000, we are definitely winning on the health, which at the end of the day is how you win the game. So again, we just want to play our game, which is countering their pushes, utilizing our health as a resource, trusting the hero, even though the stun lancers are currently taking out our hero's ability to do much. Trusting the hero, countering what they're doing, and focusing on that bridge control. Because I don't want to see in this match, playing against Ravager is very scary because we don't want to see the empowered Brutus. We don't want to see the big Brutus. He is very powerful. He's very angry. And potentially, if they got a good push on us with the empowered Brutus, we probably won't win. Now, we're coming down to the end here. Why? He casts a spell. He enraged Zhao. He can't kill Zhao right now because he has no anti-air. We've got Fireball. And there you go. We played our game. We utilized our most powerful counter to him, which was Zhao, and made sure we just set ourselves up at the end so that Zhao was protected. Even if they had the Marine drop or anti-air units, they would have placed those down. Our other units, the Scrat Horde from the top and the rest of the units in the bottom, would have been able to either kill them or distract them from Zhao for Zhao to get us the win. So even though that you may be losing on bridge control, as long as you don't get too far behind on bridge control, focus your game. Your game is countering their strategy and trying to take that bridge control, trusting your hero, and making sure that you utilize your health as a resource, and making sure you stay kind of just ahead of water until you can make that final push in. You noticed in that game that Zhao was our all-star and our kill, not so much the Cleaver, though the Cleaver did play some really good roles in taking out such as the Mechano Chopper to keep our Scrat Horde safe, and also helping to take out their Brutus. So guys, I hope you do enjoy this updated Minion Masters starter deck. I hope it does well for you like the other one did. Please leave your comments below. Again, I apologize we've waited so long to update it, but I saw the cry out from everyone, so I wanted to get an updated deck to you so you can play with it. If you guys do have suggestions of decks you would like me to build, decks you would like to see a video made or me talking about those, please do send them to me on Twitter. That's at DavramTV. Drop them in the comments below. I will definitely test out and give you my opinion of your deck. If you would like me to build a deck around some sort of concept, again, hit me up at DavramTV on Twitter, or also you can leave a comment in the section below. But guys, thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please hit that like. If you really enjoyed it, consider subscribing and turning on that notification button so you can see more of our Minion Master and other content that I have coming to the channel. Thank you very much, guys. Take care of yourselves and each other. We'll see you next time in the arena.